waiting for it to load. Welcome to Lisa's Art Room. Tonight we're going to be working some more on my Wintertime Vignette. Y'all come in and say hi, let me know you're here. We are currently live on Facebook. If you see the little red button at the top left, if not, you're catching a replay either here or on YouTube. I'm going to get you guys pulled up so I can see chat, and then we'll double check the sound to make sure everything's running smoothly. If I can find it. All right, let's see. Anybody on yet? Not yet. All right. There we go. All right. We're going to get the sound checked and then we'll start. Thanks, Don. She let me know the sound was good for anybody watching a replay. All right, so tonight we're going to be working on a couple things. I don't know exactly how much I'll get to, but I'm going to try to get to all I had planned. We've got these little, I got stuff in here. All right, we got our little boxes that we did the wallpaper in last week. We've got some like kind of carpety stuff and then some wallpaper. I think I might put something on top. I'm not sure. Like I said, it probably won't show, but I found some gray paper that's just kind of plain. This stuff, this is a backdrop, but I might use this or I might just paint it. I don't know. Honestly, gluing the paper is probably easier than painting it, but we'll see because I don't want to get paint on this. All right, so on this, I'm going to be putting these brick pieces on the side, and then I will do the cobblestone pieces on the terrain base, which is this that we started. We've got some snow over here. There'll be more snow and texture. It's just a base coat of snow. And then the boxes will go here, and then the cobblestone will go here. So I'm going to try to get to at least the brick and cobblestone, and then we'll see what else we can get to. I went ahead and cut out the brick pieces to fit so that y'all didn't have to watch me struggle with that. And because I had to kind of patch pieces together to make it work. But we'll talk about it as I go, and that's the plan. So if y'all want to see that, stay tuned. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this camera up top so we can get started. And I forgot my stool. Sorry. I usually have my stool sitting there, but I moved it. And, okay, I can't see that. I think it's straight. It's interfering with my lines. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Deborah. If there's anybody else on here that I haven't said hi to that has said hi. There's a couple of lurkers, but that's fine. I like to lurk too, so I know what that's all about. I do that a lot when I watch videos. I don't necessarily want to talk to anybody. I just want to watch. So I understand if y'all are lurking, feel free. So these are cut out. I've labeled them, and I've labeled these sides. Okay, so what I did is I'll just show you with one. I had my pieces sitting here. Where are they? They're there. I'll show you what I did basically. It's not like it's that complicated. But what I did is I put a piece, because these are very small, I put a piece flush with the front, okay, and then flush with the top, and then I held on to it, and I laid it down, and while it was laying down, I took a pencil, and let me see if I can find something that'll actually show. I took a pencil, and I just drew a line, okay, so I knew where to cut it, and before I let it get lost or moved, what I did is I took another pencil and just turned it over, drew an arrow which way it goes on there, and then I wrote a letter, whatever letter I was at. I started with A, and then that way I know where each piece goes, so that later I don't have to try to fit them again, because this is not square or even, because it's Dollar Tree, guys. You know they're not going to be square. So that's how I did that. And I did it off camera because honestly I knew it was going to be a little bit time consuming, and I didn't want to waste a lot of time just doing that part, you know. So they're all cut out, and they have letters and everything to tell me what fits. We'll just start with A, just because. So that's on this one. And so I've got my base, and the arrow just tells me that it's pointing toward the outside of the base. And that's how I'm kind of keeping everything straight, because I won't be painting on that, although at some point it'll be glued down, but I won't do it until I'm ready. And that tells me that like this part of the base goes this way, whichever way the storefront is. So I have to look at the storefront, which is the cobblestone side, and then the arrow, and I know this piece goes here. Okay, that's how I have just kind of kept it straight, and I know this piece goes here. So we are working with these sides because that will be the brick walls. So just this and this. I debated putting brick on top, but I think I'm going to leave it sky. That way, when you're looking at it from this side, the whole tree scene will, I think, blend in a little more. I think that makes sense. So we're going to go ahead and do our brick. And try not to talk so much that I don't get anything done. I've got the transfers ready. I will try to get to those too. Hopefully I can. This shouldn't take that long since I have it cut out, but you know, you never know. So A is this one. Okay, and you see how I've got an A, and then I have an arrow telling me that it, okay, and it should fit pretty exact. Sometimes, you know, things aren't 100% perfect, but my lighting is weird today. I'm going to move these lights just a little. I've got a lot of shadowing. Let's see if I move this one over. Is it a little better? No, not really. Move it closer. A little better. Still, I guess it's just because of that. I was hoping the other light that I have from this side would counteract it, but it's not really a lot. Even though it's right there. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to glue this on. Debated on the glue I want to use. I don't want to use matte medium. It won't be strong enough. I think I'm just going to go with art glitter. The only thing is this is texture. They're bumpy. So you need something thick enough that it can grab all of that. So I'm thinking maybe I should use Fabri-Tac. I might go with Fabri-Tac. It's not my favorite to mess with, but I think I will. The Fabri-Tac also has the benefit of it doesn't warp paper like art glitter does, because it's not a water-based glue. It's an acetone-based glue, which means it stinks more, but it is what it is. So most of these are watercolor paper. I probably don't have to worry about that, honestly, but the ones that were cardstock, I don't think I used any of. But the cardstock ones, you definitely would probably want to use the Fabri-Tac, just because these might warp a little easier than these will. And I just went ahead and went with these because honestly they're the oldest ones I had, and I figured I might as well use them. So we'll go with Fabri-Tac. So I think I'm gonna put the glue on. I think I'm gonna put it on the wood. So I'm just gonna mark the wood, although it'll probably stay wet long enough, but just in case, make sure I haven't moved that. So this one goes here. This is B, which is this little piece here. Okay, and I tried to make sure that the bricks continued in a normal way with lines and all that. So I cut them to fit as best I could. And this is just the drop off of this side. It's the same piece, but it's the drop off of when I cut it. So So I'm going to try to zoom in just a little. I just got to remember to stay in camera. It just seems so dark. And maybe it's me and it's not that dark. I don't know. I have a light as strong as I can get it, so it is what it is. All right. What was I saying? I don't even know. I think I'll just start with this top piece. I'm just going to move these and draw a little line there so I can kind of know where to stop the glue mostly. So I didn't draw a line, but I'll go ahead and do that. These two I could probably do at the same time. And we'll go ahead and start this. Hey, Bonnie. So I'm just going to put this on. I'm going to put a decent amount because, like I said, it's got all those bumps and ridges because it is a 3D embossed piece, which means, you know, it's more bumpy. Sorry, that's kind of noisy. I didn't think it was going to be that noisy. I'm going to use my little, this is a chocolate squeegee. But you could use whatever you got to smooth it out. But I am going to smooth it out just a little bit. Not too much because I want it a little bit thick. All right, make sure I'm in the right direction. I'll stick that on there. I'll try to just feel my sides and everything and make sure that I am flush. If nothing else with the front, and that way I don't have to trim the front. And the back, if it's hanging over a little bit, I'll trim it before I paint, because I'm going to probably paint this some more. I'll trim it before I paint that, because it's not going to blend in with the transfers like it is. But I just wanted a base on there. That's why that's done. So I'm flush with this side and this side. It seems like it's holding on there decent. Just want to make sure it's staying and not raising back up or anything. I think we're good. Like I said, this side's hanging over just a little bit. We'll deal with that later. Fabri-Tac does take a minute more to dry than art glitter, but I think it's a better option. So we'll do the B and C. Doesn't dry that fast. That I can't do both these pieces. I'm just lightly spreading it out. I'm not pushing real hard so it doesn't squish it away. All right, so that goes there. And hopefully they fit like they were supposed to. I tried. I'm trying not to get too much of that Fabri-Tac on the outside. And I could have went ahead and painted that, I guess, first. Honestly, I probably should have painted it like a reddish brown, but I think I'll be okay. I can always touch it up with a fine brush or something later. But if you're worried about, little bits showing through, then definitely paint it first. Something that will blend with this. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. The thing I gotta hope is that I don't get this paint on the bricks too much, but I will be putting snow on these bricks, so it may not matter that much. So that looks good, right? I'll show you how it blends together at that seam. Not too bad. Okay, so that's how that looks. We're gonna just let that dry a little bit more. You know what I'm gonna do? I think I will jump to the other one so I can do both sides, and then I'll do the other side while this is drying just for a minute. Because I don't want to move it, and I might accidentally move it. So we'll just pick a side of these. Let's see. A, B, C, F, G. We'll do the G. All right, so there's G, and then H and I. I mixed them up. I and H. Okay, so here's our pieces. I did go ahead, just so you know, I did go ahead and varnish this on both sides. I was a little worried that the red that had bled through on the other side might bleed into my snow, so I went ahead and just varnished the whole thing again. And I just used my matte Liquitex varnish. and just brushed a good coat on there, let it dry. So hopefully this is all color fast and I'm not going to have any issues with it bleeding through into my snow. I guess I should mark this. It's probably not a huge deal, but we'll mark it. I can kind of guess where it goes, but we'll mark it. Just to be sure. So hopefully y'all are enjoying this little step away from junk journals. I've been doing a lot of junk journals and I haven't been painting. Honestly, I just haven't been in the mood, and that's, you know, that's on me. I do that, you know, sometimes I just get artist block and I don't feel like doing one particular thing. And right now it's painting. So I'm enjoying doing the junk journaling, and you know, we've been doing that for a while. So now I'm kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a little vignette. I do love miniature building. I don't do it a lot on my channel because most of my viewers aren't super into that. But I do try to do it every now and then, at least for Halloween or Christmas each year. So this year I chose Christmas time, technically, even though it's not near that yet. So push that down good. And like I said, this side's flush, this side's flush. This side will probably be overhanging just a fraction. And hopefully by the time I get back to the other side, it has dried. Sorry, this wood's a little noisy with my metal tip. Hopefully it's not too annoying. Try and make sure the glue is right up butted against that. All right, so H over here. I'm just gonna butt it up. The front and this piece. I'm not gonna worry about the bottom. I'll trim it if necessary. And it seems like it might be necessary. So, and then same thing, try to fit the piece together. Hopefully my lines kind of sort of match. Anything that doesn't match, great. I can always cover it with a vine or, I don't know, snow or something. I put the piece together part on the bottom purposely because that won't be the most obvious to see. That way, if it didn't look great, maybe I have a tree there or a bush or a figurine or something. That was my thought process anyway for putting the piece together on the bottom. All right, so there's that. So it looks clean, okay. If there's any parts that didn't seal good, I'll probably throw some art glitter in there to make it stick. So we'll let this one dry. We're going to jump back to the other one and do that one. See how dry that feels. Feels pretty good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this a little bit if it's dry. Oh, we got a little spot there. It's not even that it's not dry, it's just that it didn't stick at all. I might throw some art glitter in there. The art glitter will just hold faster. So I don't think it'll be too much of an issue mixing. Hopefully not. I'm just going to hold that for a second. Sometimes until it dries, you can't tell if the Fabri-Tac stuck well. That seems to be the only spot. All right, so see, I think that's all right. It's oozing a little bit, so I'm gonna try to get this ooze off. Where's my rag? There it is. A little bit of that glue. And then to trim that, I don't know if I want to wait longer. Debating if I can use my scissors or if I have to use my blade. Let's see. This side's going to be painted. And figure out, my scissors will lay flatter on one side than the other, so I try to pick the flat side so that it lays right against it. Right. I don't know if I can get it up here though. Probably not. So, is that flat enough? Maybe. Maybe it's flat enough. Get my fingers out of the way. I'd rather use the scissors if I can, only because I'm less likely to eat into the wood. That's not too bad. All right, that's pretty good. That piece doesn't quite fit there, but I know I'm covering that with something, so I'm not going to stress about it. And then I've got a little bit of overlap there. Just trim that off. All right, that's not too bad. And anything that is not perfect, I can always cover with paint or snow or whatever, okay? All right, so where's my bottom? There's my bottom. So let's go this way. This is D, E, and F. There's D, E, and F. I'm going to put my lid back on my art glitter. You know what, real quick, I might just double check this. See if it needs anything. Oops, don't fall. Oh, right there. Oh, that was a lot. Really used. That way it can be drying before we get back to it. It actually held pretty good. All right, I think it's okay. All right, so back to this. Put my lid on this. And I don't like to wait, you know, granted I'm in a live, but, you know, it works well if you do things in order like this, where you can just, you know, concentrate on one and, you know, move back and forth, so you don't have to wait for things to dry as much, you know, especially if you have multiples. Basically, you know, do more like a, what do you call it, like a construction line. I guess, is that what you call it, construction line? I think that's what you call it. I think the first time it didn't stay wet long enough because maybe I didn't put enough glue. All right, smooth that out to the edge. I think that's what maybe I didn't do, is smooth it out to the edge enough, so we're going to do that this time. All right, D. So flush with this side and the top. So top and this side. And then I will fix the back. When it's wet, it moves really easy. And I keep going too far. Right there. Okay, got it. Squish down good. All right, E and F. So this is a fairly easy way to make bricks. If you don't have embossing folders, you could paint them on. You could use foam and carve into little foam pieces and do some bricks. There are other ways you could do them. Maybe you just find a piece of printed paper that has bricks. I want blue first. That's also an option. You know what I think I did? I didn't do F first. I should do F first because that's my flush area. So I'll put F on here first, and then I'll put E up against it. So do want this area to be mostly flush. That's where the green little piece is going to go, and I don't want any overhang there that might interfere with that sitting on there for my window. So I'm trying to make sure I'm not over that edge. I could always sand it after it dries too, if I feel anything. I glue all over my fingers again. I had so much glue on my fingers yesterday, guys. My hands, they look awful right now. Crafting is hard on your hands. It really is. I ended up having to like scrub my hands as good as I could, and then I buffed my nails. Not that I really have nails, but what's there I buffed. And then I had to put I put jojoba oil on because they were just a mess. It seemed to help a little bit. But this time of year, oh my gosh, my hands, they just look like, they look like sandpaper. I know they're getting bad when I go to pick up my microfiber and it's sticking to me because of the roughness. You ever have that happen? You pick up these like microfiber cloths and they're sticking to your hands, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so annoying. I hate that feeling. It's like microfiber doesn't bother me normally, but during the winter, I think it bothers me more just because my hands get too rough. Probably not drinking enough water. I don't drink Cokes or anything, or, I don't drink sodas. I do drink tea, coffee, and water, and milk. So I do still get probably more caffeine than I need, although I do make my iced tea with a decaf version and then just a little bit of caffeine versions. I actually do my own mixture and make it in a glass jar. It's actually like a mason jar. It's like a really large mason jar in the refrigerator, and I use a Ceylon, Ceylon. I use that with a little bit of Assam. So I use for a jar, I use 7 teaspoons of the decaf, and then I use just 3 of the caffeinated. That way my tea is a little caffeinated, but it's not so caffeinated that I'm going to be bouncing off the walls. I can't use that bag balm stuff, Bonnie. I'm allergic. I have an allergy to anything with petroleums or mineral oils or anything like that. So even this microglaze, technically I'm allergic to this too, but I usually just try to wash my hands real quick. But it'll start making me itch like crazy, and to the point I have to go to the hospital or take a lot of Zyrtec or something. I don't break out in a rash. I just itch. I don't know why. It's happened ever since I was carving in the movie business. I was doing set carving with EPS foam, and I developed an allergy. An allergy, a sensitivity. I mean, technically, I guess it's really more like a sensitivity, I think they would call it, but it does bother me a lot. I had to quit the business because I couldn't do it anymore. Yeah, it sucks because I really have to watch the ingredients of everything. And try not to get too much of that because they put mineral oil in everything. But I will know if I start getting it a lot because I'll start itching like nuts, and I'm like, what is going on? Why am I itching? And I'll go, read the new ingredients of something I bought and be like, oh, that's what it was. Oh, tummy's gurgling. Sorry. I didn't eat again, And honestly, it's because hubby's schedule changed on me. And I had plans to fix wings tonight, and that takes, you know, like an hour. And he ended up working 3 hours later than he was supposed to, so that didn't happen. So I had him stop and get my youngest daughter and himself some Bojangles. And I'll just fix me some wings later. So I will be eating very late. Not that it's anything new. Right there. So much glue on me. Luckily, these don't bother me. I know some people say this art glitter bothers them. I know, is it Shona with Wrappers and Scraps, I think? It's either her or Jimmy Lou. I don't know, maybe both. But I know one of them has an issue with that art glitter. I've never had an issue yet. Not that I won't develop a sensitivity to it, because sometimes that happens over time, but I haven't yet. So hopefully I won't, because I really like that glue. All right, that's good. So we're going to let that dry just for a minute. Let that dry for a minute. So we've got both sides on the boxes. Looking pretty good. Let's see if this one's dry enough to trim it. It might be. I'll try. That side's good, that side's good. A little bit there. All right, not too bad. All right, so that one's pretty good. I think I got both of them. There's a little bump right here. I could just wait and sand it probably. The scissors are working decent. These long scissors from Tim Holtz are pretty good. I love because I can get into areas like this. They're, you know, very long. And they stay relatively flat. All right. So there's that one. Let's see. This one probably isn't dry enough. But I don't know. I might can cut it. I'm going to try. Scissors are less risky than the utility blade. Utility blade, I tend to rip things more if the glue isn't completely dry. So that little piece there. I really need to go from the other angle, but I don't think I can because I'm not left-handed. All right, good enough. I'm going to set those aside for a minute, and we're going to do something else because that's going to really need to dry before I go to the next step, I think. You too? You're allergic? Oh, it's Jimmy Lou? Okay, I couldn't remember. But I remembered them saying it because I think they use the Barely Arts glue instead, which I assume is similar. I haven't used it yet. I thought about ordering some just to try it. You know, that way I could kind of switch back and forth. But I know the Barely Arts glue is good. All right, so you think I could put the transfer on? Probably not. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I could. Let's see. You know, we'll do the cobblestone while this is drying a little bit longer. So I'm just going to set that up there. We'll do the cobblestone. Cobblestone's going to be a little more tricky because I got to shape it. I am going to zoom back out because it's bigger. So let me see if I can grab hold of the thing. There. Cobblestone is, it will be time consuming. I have glue flaking everywhere. All right, we don't need the brick. Put these pieces back in here. Keep all your little scraps because you never know. They can come in handy for lots of things. Cobblestone. So I did varnish the cobblestone too, even though I think I did. Did I? You know, I don't know if I did. It doesn't really need varnish because it's not I don't think it's I wasn't going to use this piece. This is peeled cracker box, which is a little different. I actually took, instead of the cardstock, I actually took one of these pieces that I had peeled. And any of you who watch me know that sometimes I'll peel the back layer off of this to give myself a thinner layer. And I had some of that, and I wanted to make it out of that and see if it was similar to like watercolor paper. And it actually wasn't bad. It actually worked pretty good, but the color's a little different than the rest of them, so I'm gonna not use it. I'll try to pick colors that are somewhat similar. I think these 4 will be enough. If they're not enough, I'll have to use it or make another one. I think that's all I have, right? Yeah. Okay. So for this, I'm going to try to fit it in here. And I don't know how I'm going to do it exactly. I think I want to make this edge a little uneven so that the seam isn't so obvious. Somebody said I switched to neutral pH. What is neutral pH? I don't know what that is. Is that a glue, Deborah? So let's see. Debating how I can figure out the edge. I might can flip it and trace it, but it's angled in, so I may just have to wing it. But I think I don't want the seam straight, so I'm going to sacrifice a couple of stones and just cut around them. And then I'm going to piece in, well, maybe not that one, I don't like the way that cut. I'm going to piece in the pieces and hope that this makes it blend better. I haven't tried it yet. No clue if it'll work. I really have no clue. This part can be straight because that's just against my vignette. This piece is, it's this one. Let's see if you can see. Which goes up against that snow kind of. It's got a little mark on there, but I can't quite see it. Let's see where I think this goes. It goes about here. So this piece will be flush. It's hard to show. I need a side camera, but I don't have one, so it's going to be flush against like that. So that can be straight, and that's fine. I'll be putting the green thing in there. I just don't know if I want it away from it for the green piece. And the green piece is my windowsill. This piece, it's thick. It's like, I'd say a 1/16 of an inch. So it's going to go in front here. And then I'll have candy canes or something there. So do I want it underneath it, or do I want it in front of it? It's not as... I think I want it in front of it because... Oh, do you mean... Okay, I have Lineco too. I have this in Lineco. Is this what you mean, the PVA glue that I use for bookbinding? That must be what you mean. Okay. Yeah, that's good glue. I like that glue too. But it doesn't dry as fast as the art glitter. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is try to leave a gap for this. And I can always fill it in with snow or whatever, but I think I will try to leave a gap for that. So I'm just going to put this where I think it goes. What is this piece? Oh, it must be from the bag. I'm going to draw a line, and then hopefully that will work. So I think that goes there. I'm trying to... I don't have a strong line anymore. Honestly, the paint line is the strongest line I have right here. Let me throw both boxes down so I can kind of see. Where's the front? Okay, there. I'm just going to throw them both down so I can kind of see where I think it should go, because I want their little thing to meet up as even as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect because I can always fill it in with snow. All right, that looks pretty good, I think. So I'm going to draw a line for the front of the box. Do the same thing here. This is all going to be covered, so I don't care if it shows. And then I'm going to set this on here as flush as I can get it. Make sure it's flush. I'm going to draw another line. Actually, I think I'll draw a line here too, because I'm going to try to fit the cobblestone in there. If I can't, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to have a tree there and some other stuff, so I could just throw snow in there. And then I'll put this here. It doesn't fit the whole box, so I'm trying to figure out. God, that is so not square. That particular box is way not square. I'll draw another line. That way I have a little gap there that I can fit that into, hopefully. Hopefully. That's the goal. And I will put the cobblestone on the outside line. And I'm just going to get close. I'm not going to be exact because I know I'm going to put a bunch of snow in here, I think. I'm going to start all the way on the edge, and I'll just have to piece all this stuff together. Hopefully this works, guys. I think I'm going to see. Can I push that seam? It's got a bump there. You probably can't see it. I don't know if this will show. It kind of shows. I could do it that way. Maybe. I'm trying to get close enough to the edge. I don't know exactly how far I need to be, but I'll fill it in with snow and who knows what else is going to go there. I don't know at this point. All right, where's my bone folder? Let's see if we can make this a little bit more of a sharper line. I'm trying to just figure out the easiest way to do this. Does it show enough? It's not bad. All right, we're just going to go for it. We're going to go for it. Hold your breath. I know. I'm just like, hopefully it's close. If not, I'll be patching. All right, about there. That's not too bad. It's a little off right there, but I can fix that. All right, we'll go with that. All right, so there's that side. Let's just leave that. I think I'll do this side. I hope I have enough of this. If I don't know. I'll fill it in with something. Or I'll make more off camera. All right, I need the outside line. Gotta remember which line I'm going to. Outside line. I'm not going quite to the corner there. I think about there. Let's try to make a good edge on here. My fingers almost work better. It's got a weird bevel. That's what I'm trying to keep it on. It's hard to do. Did I get it enough? I can kind of see it from an angle. I think I got it. Okay. We're going to go for it. Like I said, if it's a little off, I can play with it. And move it around. Alright, I still need to make this shape different. Outside edge, outside edge. Alright, that's good there, that's good there. It's the same thing, I've got a little bit extra there we'll play with. Alright, so let's just kind of cut this. I just don't want a straight edge. I am going to kind of try to stick with the bricks though. I think it will hide it better, you know? So it's not so obvious that there's a seam. Alright, so there's that. And these pieces I'll just use as little bricks, you know. I'll cut them out and they will be piecing bricks. Try to leave myself a little bit of a grout if I can. So like I got these two, you know, maybe I throw them over here somewhere or something like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna put my pieces over here. And like I said, this is a little tedious, just a little, but it's the only way I really know to do it and not make it look too perfect. All right, and then maybe I'll do one in the middle. So I want it this way. I'm gonna try to fill this in. Trying to figure out the best way to get the best use of this piece. Probably just straight like this. Leave enough of a gap there. I can always piece that. That's going to have a tree on top of it, so it doesn't matter if there's a seam there as much. So let's just try to do this here. And then I have to fill in this area and this area. See if I can get this line. It doesn't make a great line, but here, I'll try to show you. Can you see it? It makes a line. So enough that I can see where to cut, kind of. And then I can trim it anywhere that needs, you know, fine-tuned. So something like that. And like I said, I will probably put some snow here on the very edge, so probably not a huge deal. Just a little bit more. All right, that's pretty good. So I'm just going to do the same thing with this side. Just cut out a few of the stones so that I can get a curve to work with. Hopefully y'all understand my logic for doing this way. Instead of just putting the flat pieces line to line, I think it will be a better option. I think I cut this side too. So something like this. Okay. All right, so I think like that. So I got pieced something in there, so I don't know what's going there. We'll make that a little irregular. Let's see if I can tell where this fits. I didn't outline it, so I don't know exactly where it fits, but as long as it's close. Okay, that's pretty good. I might just go ahead and start gluing it and piecing. Where's that outside? There. So this, we're going to come in just a little bit there. I probably should just go ahead and glue these three pieces. Should I do some? I should do some with that edge. Just a little. It does have some small stones there, so I can work around those. There. So it's not perfect. Oh, that's kind of funky looking. Right there. All right, let's do that. We'll glue these three pieces down, and then we'll do it. What does this say? It's made by the same company and it's PVA, but it's a bit different from the bookbinding glue. Oh, okay. Unlike art glitter, but not much. So it does give you a few seconds, so it doesn't dry as slow as this, because this dries really slow. I don't know how slow it dries if it's in a fine tip. You know, like if you were to use one of these tips on it, then, because that makes a difference on how fast it dries. So I don't know about that. I've never tried it in a fine tip, I don't think. Let's see if there's anything worth keeping here. I don't think so. Okay. So we'll trash those. All right, so let's glue these three pieces down. I still have one whole piece to play with, so I think I've got plenty. And we'll piece those together. All right, so let's go for it. Shall I throw some lines? Sure. So something like this. This I'm going to cut I'm just going to draw, oh, let's use the white one. I'm just going to draw about where I need to trim this. So it needs just a little trim right there. Not much, just a bit. All right, so that's going to go about like that. So let's draw this so I can piece this in here with some glue. Probably use Fabri-Tac still. So that goes there. This, I'm going to do the same thing and just kind of fit it close. And then fine tune it anywhere it needs fine tuned, which in this case is over here. Hopefully, am I on camera? I think I'm on camera. I know I'm zoomed out pretty far, but with this big piece, it's so hard to tell. All right, so let's just trim that edge off a little bit. See how we did. About like, all right, that looks pretty good. A little tiny bit right there. Here, let's see if I can just, it's like I don't want to pick it up, but I have to pick it up. So every time I pick it up, then I have to reposition it. Okay, that's good, that's good. And I'm not going all the way to the corner here because I'm probably just going to throw snow there. Okay, of this color. So this is just so I know where to put my glue and reposition this easily, hopefully. All right, so that one will go there. And then this one doesn't really matter too much. Let's see. I just want it to be not where that green might be. So I'm going to come out just a little bit further maybe. You know, maybe I'll just cut off that back spot. It's probably easier than messing with my perfect little line in front. So I'm trying not to hit that green board that comes over there. If worst came to worst, I could probably trim it with, you know, an X-Acto, but I don't know exactly how it's going to work, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut these pieces off. I don't want them too close. I think that little piece and that little piece. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and line this because I don't want to, it's going to be a pain to figure out where I was. So I'll go ahead and line this because this is fitting good. Try that, and I'm just going to take off. I wish I had a color that was sharper. This white is not showing up great. I'm going to take off that little bit, and I think that little bit. Oh, my little scissors. So just there, and there. All right, so we'll glue all those down, and then we'll piece together. We're going to go back to Fabri-Tac, I think. Make sure I'm on camera. I didn't mark that back edge. I really don't want glue there, so let me just mark where it stops. Right there. Same thing here. That way I don't put glue past it. Okay. Wait. Okay. I don't think I'm going to smooth this because I don't want to. It's such a bigger piece, I don't want it to dry on me. So I'm just going to go for it. Try and get it as close to the edge as I can though. There's a little thingy. I'm just going to squish it over to the edge there. And maybe to this edge. Other than that, I'm going to leave it. Got lines everywhere. All right, so I'll put that back in there. And make sure I'm away from my wall. That looks good. All right, I'll stick you down. I think this will be a cute little walkway. A little bit outside there. I don't want to go outside. And where's my little thing? So just to the edge. I'm trying to get the edges as best I can because I don't want to have to. I didn't get enough here. Come on. Ah, air bubbles. It's like you have to wait for the air bubble. It's starting to dry already. What? Don't dry. You need to stay nice and wet so I can get the piece down. Look at it. It's on my things coming off. Okay, it's so dry. It's not dry, but it's tacky dry. And I don't want it tacky dry. I want it nice and wet, so it's not even that hot in here. I have so much glue on me, guys. Here, get this big old chunk off. I need to roll it off, put it in the trash. All right, get this on here before it dries. I feel like I'm too close. No, it's right. Okay. I can roll off this glue. I need glue that's on the edge there. I can kind of roll off. Roll my fingers again. All right, that feels pretty good. I think we're down. All right, next piece. Hopefully I can figure out where to put it. Oh, where does this go? Hold on. As long as I'm flush there, it'll be fine, but I don't know where to stop the glue, so. There, okay. I need to top it off because when it's not completely full, one, I can't squeeze it, and two, I have to wait too long for the bubble. It's about at that point. My hand's too weak. Alright, enough on here. Hopefully, I should clean this. That's why I ended up with that big glob. I only want to even out this edge, and this edge. Okay, piece it in. Looks good. Sure it's sticking. Oh my goodness. Glue everywhere. All right, roll off anything that's outside for now. That is a nice thing about Fabri-Tac, is it will roll off your surface if you get anywhere you don't want it. It's usually not too much of a problem. Messy. All right, there. Now, let's see what we can piece in here. So, I wonder how I want to do this. I'm probably going to have a few I'll do a kind of a bigger piece for the middle. So I'm just going to cut a section of this out. Something irregular. Let's see. Maybe about here. Let me see. That's close. And then I'm trying to leave room to, actually that almost fits. Put one brick there. A small brick there. Let's do that. Let me just cut this right here. Okay, and then we'll cut that other side. I think in this little crack here. Should do it. Nope, a little bit more. Almost. I'll take this one off. Save that little stone because it's a whole piece. And I have to cut that one. I'm just going to cut not on the line to make it irregular. That's not too bad. All right, this time I think I'll have to put the glue here because I don't want to have to trace it. So I'm going to try to put the glue here. Whew. Yeah. Sorry, my tendonitis does not like me squeezing these bottles. I know I complain about it all the time. There's not a lot I can do about it. Just kind of deal. Oh my goodness, stand. All right, I'll get you fit in here, kind of, sort of. Go with that. That's not too bad. Yeah, if nothing else, anywhere that it's not perfect, I just throw snow. You know, that's the nice thing about doing a snow surface is you kind of can just go with it. So which piece do I want? Let's try this one. Alright, so I'm just going to cut some of this out. See how it fits. I like that piece, I think. I'm going to put this something like that. I'm trying to keep that flat edge right there because I kind of like that. And then I'll just cut this little odd piece off. We'll patch something in there. Where's that flat edge? All right, so just a little bit right there. So this is what I meant about this part being maybe a little tedious because, you know, I just didn't want to deal with the seams, honestly. And even covering it up with the snow, if you have straight seams, it's going to be obvious. Okay, that's not bad. Got some little pieces floating around. I'm probably going to use this over here, but I like this little piece. I think I'm going to try to stick it in there. I think it'll fit. Will it fit? It's bigger than I thought it was. What if I put it there? Oh, I'm upside down. Okay, I can put it there. Should I fill this? Do I have any Fabri-Tac? I don't know. let's just jump over here for a minute. So you can use this bigger piece. It's almost the right angle. It's close. All right, that's the right angle. I will take off here and here. Okay, whoops. What happened? Forgot which way it went. All right, I can go there. And then I need just a little bit right here. Let's take this and this I'll take out because it's kind of odd. We'll leave that. I think it was there. Okay, let's see how that looks. All right, that's not bad. I think I can squeeze that in there. Hopefully. Hopefully I can remember where it was. Glue on here. Probably should be holding this with the tweezers. That would be smarter. Instead of getting glue all over my hand. All right, let's see. Where was it? All right, get that big old glob of glue off. Okay. All right, excuse my glue rolling off my fingers. Okay. I like that rock right there. Looks like a good size. So the rest of this is probably going to be piecing because I think that'll be the best way to do it. It's close though. Look how close already. It's not too bad. What time is it? 10:10. All right, we're doing okay. Let's see if this really fits in there. I think it does. It's close. I can make it work. Other than the putting way too much glue on. Let's see, a smaller rock. Got a little thin rock there. Maybe that one. That one seems to fit. Let's do that one. For the most part, I'm trying to keep the grout lines, at least some. It's not a huge deal. Will make it look, you know, more cohesive. Like that. Okay. Do I have a triangular rock? Too big? Yeah, it's the wrong direction. That's okay. We'll just throw it up here somewhere. We'll just stick it right there. Yep, that'll work. So hopefully you don't mind watching me. There's this little bit of a tedious process. I'm trying to put as much glue as I did last time. That was overkill. And what do we got? I think it's just going to be best for me just to cut pieces out. kind of just figure out where they go. I really need to fill this bottle. Where was it? I think that way. Okay. And then I don't know if that one will fit in there. Not quite. We'll go over here somewhere. It's a nice little rock, so we're going to throw it. Stone, rock, I guess stone. You know, is this the best way to do this project? I don't know. It's how I wanted to do it, just because I wanted it to be, you know, not perfect. I think this one will go there real nicely. So I can get this bubble down. Come on, bubble. You're too slow. Okay. Nice. Does it look good? Awesome. I'm glad. I feel bad if it didn't, taking up all this time. I hope it does. All right. That's a nice skinny one right there. Let's take that one. See if I can fit it in there. Will it fit? Almost. Just a tiny bit off that tip. Okay. All right, that's good. I feel like I should have a spot there, something that can go there. What do I have? Not that one. If I run out of pieces here, I'll just grab that whole piece. Let's see. It's kind of a triangular shape. That's not bad. I think it'll go in there. I don't really care if I cut this up, because it is what it is. I think this piece will fit. If I don't lose it. Other way. Almost. I'm just going to make it. All right, we'll just take a little bit off that side. Off of here. And a little bit off right there. It won't have the perfect grout, but that's okay. Oh, come on, air bubble. Oops. Dropped it. Good. I need stuff in here. It's okay for a bigger piece, probably. Maybe I'll piece together. I want smaller rocks, but I want them this way, I think. Maybe that. So like this, and we'll just cut that. And try and see how high it needs to be. Right, so this goes here, this goes here. Don't want to go over now. I want that in there. All right, too high, so I got to get rid of, because I don't want to go into the green area. Right, I'm going to have a gap there. Right, that's fine. I'll deal with the gap in a minute. All right, where's that spot? Right here. Wish this showed up better. It just does not. Just have to take off that whole rock, I think. All right, this should be good. Let's see. A little bit of glue in there. I didn't get any there, but I'll just piece it down. Okay, that's pretty good. Getting there. So I think I'll just, anywhere that I don't fill in, I'll just throw some snow, guys, because we don't want to spend too much time on this. I know I should have a nice long rock here somewhere. Or I'll just make a long rock. Try and find a color that looks good. Kind of like, just go with this one. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this to fit. So, about like so. And about like so. It's like a puzzle, doing a puzzle. It's like make your own puzzle. Don't drop it. Can't remember which way it was now. All right, there. We need just a little bit off right there, I think. I'm just using the tweezers to kind of bend it up to show where to cut. It seems to be working okay. All right, let's start some glue in there. Okay. Probably not gonna worry about all those little spaces, but I think I'll try to fit something there. Probably another skinny piece. Do I have a skinny piece somewhere? That's a good rock right there. Let's see. I'm just gonna throw something in there. Hopefully leave enough space to make it look like it has some grout. I dropped it. Now it's like, where did it go? I don't know where it went. There it is. Lost it. It's tiny. Just needs a tiny bit more off that edge. All right. A little bit of glue. Come on, glue. Get in there. Good. A piece there. Tiny little rocks. Teeny tiny. Nope. There's a little, kind of a long one. I'm gonna throw something in there. I feel like it's still a little too wide. If I can figure it out. That's pretty close. time is it? All right. It feels like it's an hour, but it's only been like 10 minutes since the last time I put the glue on the wrong side. No, I didn't. I thought I did. It's because it's so orange of a piece. It looked like I put the glue on the wrong side. Right there. That's good. I'm liking it. I think it's... probably overthinking it, like I always do. I want a piece right there. Like a kind of a triangular one, maybe. Do I like this lighter one? I don't know. I kind of like the lighter one. We'll go with it. Let's see. Do it maybe that way. Just put that there. I know I need to cut a little bit more, but I just want to hold it up there so I can see. Just right there. I'll do it there and maybe there. This is good. I don't know if I'm gonna put anything. I might throw a piece in there, just kind of, but maybe not too perfect. I'm not gonna worry. I don't think I'm gonna worry about these places. I'll just throw some snow clumps there, maybe some grass or something, you know, it's just coming through the snow. Let's go ahead and throw maybe a little bit here. Let's see. Can you kind of guess? I don't know if I can kind of guess, but we're just gonna cut some. See if we can fit something in here. So like I said, I think it's going to be covered mostly. It didn't really work. Let's go this direction. That's not too bad. Okay, and then this one we just cut right here. And I've got that green spot, so I don't want to go too far over. So I think about to here. There. And this one has the green thing too, so probably not that far over. I'd rather just throw snow in there. Alright, I think I can glue that there, and this piece is approximately here. I'm just folding it. That should work. Something like that. Make sure that seems right. Is that the right one? Yeah. A little bit more. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit. All right. Just hold on to that. That's the hole is where the lights are going to come through, for anyone who missed that part. So I'm not going to cover it. Like I said, I'll just throw something in there probably. Just try not to cover it. I know I'm going to have a tree in there. I don't think you'll see this that much, but just in case you see it a little bit, that's the only reason I'm kind of throwing a couple of stones in there, in case it shows more than I think it's gonna. Just a few. that I don't think you're going to see. I think it's going to be far enough back. And if it does, like I said, throw snow. We'll throw snow everywhere. Okay, should I put one here and here? Probably should put something there for sure, just because it's on the edge. I'll probably just cut it to fit, because I don't think I have one. Something kind of triangular. Do this one's got a little more texture to it. Kind of triangular-ish. Just a tiny bit off that side. Okay, make sure that fits. Yep, okay. We'll leave the other, I think. I'm running out of time, so I don't want to spend too much time on this. And I've already spent more than I probably should. I don't know if that piece is bothering me. What about that? That piece is bothering me for sure. I'm going to do this and it's going to have snow over it and it's not going to matter. But I don't know at this point. So I just have to do it anyway. Shape. Come on. It's not the easiest thing to do, to hold it down and get the shape and then pick it back up and keep it. That's why I keep drawing on it. This mark just doesn't show very well. I don't want to go too far back in there because I'll get into the green thing. I think that's good. Take just a fraction off right here. I just have to make sure everything is sealing. Granted, the snow will help seal all this in. For sure. Okay, what happened? I forgot where it was. I don't know what happened there. I don't know, but I'm too far back. Alright, that's fine. I'll fix it. My piece was not where I thought it was. Alright, where's my blade? It's further back than I wanted it to be. Alright, there. Okay. I think that's good enough. These pieces can be covered. If they're really bothering me, I'll throw a brick in there later, but I don't think they're good enough. All right, so that's good enough, I think, for a cobblestone little base. I just want to make sure everything feels attached. I feel like it was coming up there, but no, it seems okay. Feels pretty attached. Okay, I think we're good. Let's get rid of this mess. I had a container for this somewhere probably, but I'm not going to keep all of this because I'm just not. I'll only keep the bigger pieces because they might come in handy, but I'm not keeping all those pieces. Okay. Can we do the transfer? I hope so. Okay. Get my little glue on here. What do you think? It's rolled off. If I don't roll it off, I'll forget and grab it and put a glob of glue on something. Okay, so this is our base. Okay, it's got holes, but that's okay. Like I said, I'll deal with that later. But that's pretty good. I think that'll work. And there's going to be wires coming through there and a tree and whatever. All right, so this is the bottom. This is this direction. That's going to go there. This is the bottom. This is this direction. that's going to go there. It's going to have that little gap for the green pieces, which should still fit. We should probably just make sure. I'm sure they're fine. Yes, plenty of room. All right, so that's going to go like that. Here, let me see if I can lift it and show you all, kind of, sort of. Okay. So it'll go like that. It's so hard to show. All right, so now, since we have enough time, I think, what we're going to do is on the back of here, we're going to put our transfers. I'm using those Woodland Trees transfers. And I will be painting them in to match because they're not really going to blend, you know, super well. We're just going to make it work. Okay, so this is the right direction. I have to make sure I didn't get confused. That's the direction. This is the bottom. And I'm just going to put that up because I'm like sitting out. So I have to decide how I want to do this. I think I want the, what did I say? I said the elk one on this side, didn't I? Because we talked about it a little bit. And I'm going to try to put the base relatively close so that he's not floating in the air. And the trees don't matter as much. But we're going to lose part of the tree. I'm just deciding which tree I decided on. I think I wanted to cut this one out so I can keep this bush. But let's just look at it. Do I care about that bush or not? Maybe I only want the trees. Maybe I want the bush. I don't know. I think I want the bush. Alright, so we're going to have this here. Pretty close to the bottom. So I think I will lose that tree. I think I can piece it out okay. I'm debating which piece I can get rid of the easiest and not make it look dumb. I think that I can do that. All right, so we're going to try that. So what I'm going to do is I'm debating on the ground. All right, we're going to go pretty low, so I'm going to come all the way down to there, I think. I don't want the trees floating in the air. It won't make sense. I will have a little more snow built up, but not a lot. So I think there. And I think I'm just going to cut this out. There'll be some bare area there. That's why I'm going to end up having to paint it a little. So we'll just cut this. That's never going to work. I don't know what it will show on that. Probably just going to have to guesstimate. I'll cut that out. Cut that out. Maybe like that. And I might leave this little bit of snow to there. Alright, I think that's the plan. I will blend anything else in. I'm just not going to cut it absolutely straight so I can blend it in good. I just got to get rid of this tree. Okay. Get rid of the tree. I'm going to make this shorter. Okay, so about there. We'll come back to this one in a second. We're going to do this one first. I want it shorter because I really want the tips on there. Go closer to the ground. I'm trying to keep the tips if I can. That's pretty close. Okay, I think I can get away with that. Alright, so this is dry. It's been dry for several days now. I don't have any of this, I don't think, overlapping. Maybe just the teeniest bit. Like I said, I'll probably just cover it with paint. I think it's overlapping a little right there. I think I'm going to trim it before I try to put that on there. See if I can make sure there's nothing overlapping. That's pretty good. We'll go with that. I might save that. I might use it somewhere later. All right, where's the bottom? Bottom. Okay, make sure there's no dust or anything weird on there. We're going to go for it. Try to find a spot I can actually hold. All right. So I want my tree straight. That's probably the most important part. We don't want trees growing sideways, so try to make sure that this is straight and that I can get this on here relatively straight up and down. It's hard to do when you can't look from the top. I'm just going by the edge. I think I got it. All right. I'll go with that. And then we're just going to put the transfer on. This has some weird green specks. It's just a fact. Yeah, it is what it is. I may end up painting over it. I don't know. So just fit this box. I was originally going to use that one that was a little more, you know, curved. I decided it was too small to go with that. So these are Essential Stencil transfers. I do have a code ARTROOM. If you go to the site, it will be linked on my YouTube description area. This particular transfer is not in stock. It's been out of stock for a while, but I wanted to use it because I had it. But they have lots of other great transfers, so check them out. If you use my code, you get 10% off. Doesn't affect your, you guys anyway. It just gives me a very small commission. Good. I don't care if all those little spots didn't go on because I don't particularly like them anyway. But I do want the tree to go on and the bushes. These tiny little ones, sometimes they're difficult. Okay, all right, it's on there. It's on there. What about this one? Make sure this one's on there good. Oh, we missed one. All right, good enough. A little piece there didn't. Oh, look, I got an unglued spot. I'll fix it. All right, glue. Where's my glue? Lost it. Oh gosh, it's literally right in front of my face. Throw a little art glitter in there. I thought it was glued down, but it's probably hanging over the edge a little bit. I'll trim it later. It looked like it wasn't, but I think it is. Just a bit. All right, stay. That one's down. All right, so there's that. It's got over the edge there, which is fine. You can just take an emery board or something. I've got something sitting here somewhere. Let me see. Where is it? I've got a Tim Holtz little sanding disc. I'll just use that. So I'm just going to take off the edge of that transfer that went over. It's very thin, so it's not really going to affect too much. I think that's the only place it did. Maybe there a little. Alright, so there's that one. That looks pretty good. I will probably be varnishing this when it's all done, so but I am going to make sure it's smoothed in there. I like it. See how it's shiny? Oh, can you see it? It's a little bit shiny. So once I finish painting and blending, I'll put a coat of varnish over the whole thing, and that should hopefully make this match, you know, so it's all the same. All the same sheen. All right, let's grab this one. All right, so for this one, I want the little elk, I think, to be kind of close. I'm going to see how close I want them, because it's going to be bent like this. So I think I want them to be maybe just a fraction closer. So we're just going to take off a little bit of this edge. I'm going to put them about there. And then I want the fox to definitely be on the ground. So I'll take off about maybe this much. Hopefully I'm cutting straight. And then this side we're just going to drop, because I wanted to keep at least the elk and the fox. Yeah, that one's not going to be, but I can't go any lower, so this is going to come off the edge. Let's see, can I just make a little bit of a line there so I can see? Kind of, sort of. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I don't want a ton hanging off the edge for cutting. All right, that should be good. I think if I just keep this bottom somewhat good, I'm straight. That looks straight, right? I think it looks straight. All right, let's try that. Debating if I want to trim that. I'm just going to go by this edge and this edge to try to keep it on here straight, so hopefully that works. And I just double check to make sure my bottom isn't my bottom and I'm not the wrong direction or nothing. And let's see if we can do this without touching it, or we don't want to touch it. It's a lot to hold on to, so you gotta figure out the best place to hold it without touching the transfer. It's tricky. Okay, I'll try to get this bottom straight. I can't see it very well. The plastic is so thin. I think about there. Hopefully my tree's straight. I think it's straight. Okay. We're going to go for it. Hopefully it's straight. Just try and make sure I don't have any air bubbles. Push it outward. Sometimes you can look at it from an angle and see. I think I'm good. I'm not going to concentrate too much on these little like spots that I talked about. I don't know how they're going to look. I'd rather have snow, like white snow, instead of those. It almost looks like dirt. Can you see it? Look at it. It's very dark. So I'm not going to push too much in those areas because I'd rather just not have it, I think. At least for this. If I was just doing something different and I didn't have it as a background, it might not be an issue. But because of what I'm using this for, I think I'd rather have white snow. Like there's white snow in here. But of course they probably thought it wouldn't show up enough or something. That's my guess. how that's going to work right there, because I've got that edge. Brick is coming over just a little bit. I'll try to go as close to it as I can get. Any place, like I said, if it's not perfect and doesn't look right, I'll just paint it. It's a nice thing about being a painter is you can kind of just make things blend in. Make sure I got a little elk on there good. I'm glad he was the right size, because I was real worried that he wouldn't be the right size for my scale. I think he is. Sorry. It drops off there and I can't quite tell where it is. Keep doing it. Just trying to make sure I have all of it. It's a lot to cover. Okay. Oh, I ended up doing the spots, didn't I? I don't know if I did or not. It doesn't matter. No. I can't tell if it was coming up there. No, it's not. Okay. I like putting my hand under it that way. I know some people just peel it back. But, I don't know. This is how I do it, so. This little antler. Make sure it's stained. Fox, good. Okay. And we got that little layer there that's over the edge. I don't know if you can see it. Here. See how it's over the edge? So I just gotta knock that off. And sometimes you can just peel it off because it's very thin, but I don't really want it on my bricks, so I'm trying to make sure it isn't on my bricks, although I might put snow there anyway. I don't really want it on the bricks. There we go. If I can just cut it. Can't really quite get a hold of it that way. Just trying to keep it off the bricks as best I can. Where's it? Tweezers or something. Got a little bit on the bricks there. Because it'll adhere. It's, you know, it's sticky. But we'll throw snow on there, I'm sure. It only touched for a second, but it did still come over the edge a little. Okay, that's fine. That's not too bad. Alright, so smooth it in, make sure it's all good. Cute. I think that'll work. So it's going to be like this. It'll be angled on the display. I think that'll work. I'm going to blend paint in here. I may try to continue those colors over a little and, you know, try to make it work. If I really hate that little bit there, I could probably honestly just scratch it off, because it's not that difficult to scratch off at this point. And it's not going to really hurt the paint. It's like I want the tree, but I didn't want all of this. So I may have actually try to scratch this a little bit off right here and then throw some paint over it so it doesn't look dark there. Where's my little, this one's better. There's that little bit of brown that's there. I don't really want it on there. And then I'll thin this out. That way my paint job isn't going to be quite so difficult. It's kind of just fadey. A little bit of brown there. And there's some green there. There. That's a little better, I think, for blending. So a little bit better. You can blend that easier. But that's how it's going to look for the most part. I don't know what trees I'll have there and stuff in front of it. So there would be trees. So don't forget that. There's going to be other stuff here. What time is it? It's almost 11. Okay. We did pretty good. At least we got the stuff done I wanted to get done. So that is good. I'll show you this, how it looks together somewhat. If I can grab my base again. Okay, so our snow scene will be on this side. So I'm just going to try and show you. Here, I'll throw a tree up here just to kind of get some tape or something on it. Some blue tape ought to do it. It's not the base I'll be using probably, but I'll change the base out later. I just want to kind of show you how it's going to kind of camouflage into the trees and stuff. Okay, can I do it? There. Okay. So we're going to have trees in front of it, more than that, but you know. And then we'll have our little figures, which they haven't been painted yet, but you know, we got our snowman. He's going to go in there somewhere. We've got our Santa Claus. He's going to go in here somewhere. And then I found some kids, Dollar Tree. I found these kits. Most of the Cobblestone Village was too small. The scale was wrong. But this scale was right. There was one pack that had the right to like Santa. And that's not bad. That scale's doable. So I thought I might throw these kits in there. They're little, you know, just some kits. And they'll be painted and they'll look very similar to this anyway. But that way I can have a little more interaction going on. So let's see if you can kind of see. You can't really because I can't tape everything on here right now. But here, let's real slightly bend it upward. Nope, they're going to fall. But you get the idea. So all these things will be on there. We've got some deer. This one's painted. The other one hasn't been painted yet. But some deer will go in there. And like I said, I wanted the deer to be a similar size to my elk so that they made sense. So these deer will go in there, and maybe these kids. I did make some little snowballs. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I made them. So I've got these little, actually that's the top. I got these little snowballs that I made with, you know that extra that I had that I said I scraped out of the bottle that was starting to dry? So this is that pile. I made them out of this, so it's not going to waste. So I just rolled them into little balls, and then I coated them with rock candy glitter and let them dry. I sprayed them with a spray glue and then coated them with the glitter. They're rock hard now. But I thought it might be cute to put some snowballs in the scene, you know, somewhere. So that's what those are for. So I think we're getting there. I'm going to put my little popsicle stick painters because I got to paint these. And you could paint them easier if you hot glue them onto a popsicle stick. It just makes life easier. All right, so we got that. We got that. And the other side, we got our cobblestone, and I'm going to kind of try to show you what that's going to look like. So it's going to be like that, and it's going to have things. I don't know what. I know it's going to have the tree and then a lamp post and whatever I decide to have. So we got our backs on, we got our wallpaper. I still have to work on the painting of this with the fireplace for our bottom on that one, and then the tops of the boxes and all that. We'll do that next time. And then at some point I'm going to show you how I did the trees and all that. The little mini trees that we're going to be putting in the scene. It's like I have a whole collection of stuff to work with. I've got like some moss in case I want some like tufts of grass around the snow. These are these moss balls that I just cut off the top layer. I've got this stuff for peeking up through the snow. This is a witch's broom. I found this stick, but I don't know if I'm going to use it. I thought I could use a piece of it. It's actually from a palm tree in San Diego. And our trees, but I was going to paint one of these with you just to show those of you who have never done them how I got the paint on there and then how I get the snow on there. Okay, so, and then I've got some rocks that I may or may not use. I haven't decided. I did go out in my yard and try to find some rocks that I thought I could scale to look like boulders. So that's what these are. And these have been painted, and then these are not painted. So I just wanted them kind of look all the same, and I had a bunch of weird shaped rocks. So some are very, quartzy, and some are not. So I'll play with that, maybe make some boulders, plant life. That's the plan. A stump here or there sticking up out of the ground. Things like that. Okay, guys? So that is our project. I am hoping you're enjoying it so far. And we will continue. I'm just going to figure out a way to do this. I think we'll just do that. We will continue the next time, which, gosh, you guys know I can't remember my days. This is Wednesday, right? Okay. Yes, it's Wednesday. We will continue on Friday. So y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will see you on Friday. Take care. Thanks for watching. All right. Bye-bye.